did he feel in the early going?
Nobody sells a wagon wheel like you, Mike Morgan. Look, I think this is the best mid-major rivalry in college basketball. Hands down, no question about it. Both these programs have great tradition. They split during the regular season. They just played last week, and Akron actually rebounded from the loss early in the season to Kent State. So it's bitter. Fans don't like each other. They're barking at each other before the games. These teams don't like each other. It has all the makings for a great rivalry, and to have it in a championship game for a bid to the NCAA tournament, this is special.
They don't like one another, but they do respect one another, and they have two of the better big men players, really, not just at the mid-major level. You could argue the country. Jimmy Hall, fantastic this year for Kent State.
Yeah, he could have very easily been the player of the year in this conference. He does everything for this team. Is an outstanding offensive rebounder. This is him today alone. Catches it on that block, really good over that left shoulder. Plays hard, is really the spirit for this Kent State team, and has had a monster MAC tournament. Carried this Kent State team on his back. This is their 4th game in 4 days. What a tournament he's had.
You see the numbers, 33, 24, and 22 points, but he's going to have some pine time with 2 early fouls in this matchup, and that could pave the way for the MAC Player of the Year, Isaiah Johnson, to start getting hot. The 6'10", 300-plus pounder. He is the tractor trailer of new. He is the Karnowski of the MAC, if you will. If you've watched Gonzaga, you've seen that mountain of a man. This guy is a mountain of a man, but Chris, what makes him unique is that he's so nimble with some of the decision making and the way he can move with that size.
Well, and he's a willing passer. You know, he throw it to him on the block. If there's a double, you know, most big guys, they're black holes. But he is a willing passer and a good passer. The problem tonight is he's had 6 touches in the paint, and he's 0 for 4. They've run some different defenses at him. Here you see single coverage by De La Rosa, but they've got to get him going.
De La Rosa, the backup, but he goes 7 feet, contesting that shot, and somehow Johnson just flips it up and in.
Has a great pair of hands, has really good feet, and then the big body, which you can't teach. He is the most single dominant force in this MAC conference.
Edwin muscling his way in, then kicks it out to Walker. Stop and pop from 15, and Walker picks up where he left off, the hero of the semifinal win, and already off to a hot start in this one with 9 points.
He's a tough shot maker, and he has a neon green light. That is a tough combination.
Johnson backing in, has it poked away, scoops it up, and now he's suffocated, has to kick it out. Robotham with 5 to shoot. Back to Johnson. Johnson fades, fires, and hits.
They're going to force feed him, as they should. I mean, Keith Ambrot telling you and I yesterday that we want him to touch it every time down, and sometimes on multiple occasions. There on that possession, 2 post touches back to back in a bucket.
De La Rosa going to challenge Johnson. No good. Cheatham there for the rebound. Here comes Jackson. Antono Jackson, all MAC performer this year. Lightning quick guard. There he goes, takes off, leaves it off to Johnson. He bobbled it. And we're going to have a jump ball. The arrow going to Kent State.
They don't call him the big dog for no reason. Look at just the light on his feet. Nice up and under. And then here he just sizes up the defense, gets a little body contact, and then shows you the fadeaway. Saw him hit a 15-foot jump shot earlier. That's why he's the MAC Player of the Year. He's just an incredibly tough matchup, and he consumes the other team's scouting report.
You and I had him in this game a year ago, and I got to be honest, when I first saw him in practice, I said, come on, how can he move around with that frame? He is deceptively quick for a guy his size, and he knows all the angles and knows how to use leverage to his advantage.
Well, the question is he going to be able to move that body up and down the floor? This is their 3rd game in 3 days. And we asked him last night, are you tired? How are your legs? He said, I'm ready to go. I've done this before. We were here last year. We lost at the buzzer, and I'm hungry. And that 290 is...
that's very generous.
That is a conservative estimate.
If If he's 290, you're about a $110. Kent State with the basketball. It's been the Walker show most of the way in this first half. He's out there on the left wing. Zabo with 4 to shoot. Zabo goes to work and gets bailed out on the foul. I think they got the big dog on a reach-in. They did.
You know, opposing teams love to put the big dog in ball screens, and this is what you're going to see here. He comes off, and big dog's not great. Zabo actually has on the help. Look at De La Rosa wide open in front of the basket. Those Kent State guards, you've got to be aware, because as you probe that paint off the ball screen and you force Johnson to help, you got that other big guy right in front of the rim.
Zabo came through with a big performance in the semifinal win over Ohio. Kent State, you know, their path here, if you like dramatics, they are your team. They have won all 3 games by 3 points or less.
I don't know how Rob Senderoff feels about that.
He'd probably like a less dramatic finish today.
He's got his Pepto-Bismol dealer on speed dial.
Buy him in bulk. Inside, big dog. Yes, sir. He'll go to the free throw line. And he gets it down that low. He is nearly impossible to stop.
You know, I always say, Mike, give me a big guy who has really good hands, and you can teach him how to play. You can teach him the angles. You can teach him that. But you got to have a good pair of hands. And the 2 big guys in this game, we haven't seen Jimmy Hall come back in after the 2 fouls, and here he comes right on call. Jimmy Hall and Isaiah Johnson have great hands, and they catch everything.
How about this for a stat? You and I have seen our fair share of basketball. When is the last time you watched a basketball game where the top 2 assist men for each team were their starting centers? That is the case with Hall and Johnson.
No, it's a good point. And it just shows you, how everything starts with those guys. And that's why I say for opposing teams, the scouting report starts with them.
Hall pivots, kick out to Walker, who's been hot. Not that time. Walker slithering in there, keeps it alive. And there is Hall just off the bench and gets the bucket.
Hall kept that alive. You've got to block out the shooter. Or rather, Walker kept that alive. You've got to block out the shooter. But again, this Kent State team, 4th in the country in offensive rebounding percentage.
Nice save to Johnson into the corner. And a leaner off the window and in from Josh Williams, the 6'2 guard from Akron. Jalen Avery, who was a scoring machine in high school, had to work his way, get some confidence from head coach Rob Senderoff, who told us yesterday he's been a big difference now that he's a staple in the starting lineup. In transition, this is the game for Akron. They love to get threes in transition, and there's Josh Williams on the triple. First 3 of the game for Akron. They averaged 10.5 threes per contest. That's the 6th highest mark in all of college basketball.
And Williams has not shot it well in conference, only 30%. So good to see a bucket go in for him.
Shot clock down to 2. Hall's got to fire it up there. He does, and gets the bounce and roll. 10 points now for Hall. 1-point lead for Kent State. Under 3 minutes to play in the first half. Robotham around the screen from Johnson. Finds Williams. Eyes the shot clock. Back to Johnson. 5 to shoot. Johnson out of a double team. Williams from 15. Rims out. And a good box out on the play by Avery.
And that's the play, and that's why he leads them in assists, because he is a willing passer. If you're Josh Williams, you got to knock down that wide open 15-foot shot. In a game like this, those become big-time buckets.
Hall on Johnson. It's the matchup we came to see. Zabo on a leaner, gets it to go.
I love that Rob Senderoff brought Jimmy Hall back into this game with 2 fouls. He's already made 3 plays. I mean, that's a great coaching decision by Rob Senderoff to not sit him out, lay it all out there. This is the MAC championship. You got to trust your senior to not pick up that 3rd.
Jackson crosses his man over, finds the open man at the top, and Chutomi on a tray. Edwin top floor for the rebound. And then a foul, a clear out on Edwin. There's Robathahan. Scrappy draws the foul. 1:26 to go. 3-point game from the Q in Cleveland.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Sonic, where shakes and new ice cream slushies are half price after 8 p.m.
During the Lexus Command Performance Sales event, experience our most elevated SUVs ever, including the LX, GX, RX, and NX. Experience amazing. During the Lexus Command Performance Sales event, experience our most thrilling models ever, including the exhilarating IS, GS, and RC Coupe. Experience amazing.
Chris Cotter in Bristol, Kara Lawson, Dan Dockich will join me for the Audi halftime report just a few minutes. Big wins for Villanova and Iowa State as they cut down the nets and look forward to the NCAA tournament. Speaking of which, several tickets punched today. We'll go through the list, show you some great highlights coming up. Audi halftime report. Mike, Chris, see you then.
Chris Cotter, thank you very much. The MAC, of course, one of 13 leagues that will punch its ticket to the big dance today. Kent State and Akron doing battle, and Kent State's got a chance to punch their ticket as a number 6 seed. You look at the lowest seeds to win conference tournaments thus far: Northern Kentucky, Jacksonville State, South Dakota State of the Summit. Texas State has a chance to do it. Marshall in Conference USA could do it as a 6 seed. And Kent State, a program that has not been to the NCAA tournament since 2008. This would be a heck of a story for Rob Senderoff and company.
Yes, it would. And he has done a great job here at Kent State.
That, of course, our tournament challenge brought to you by Allstate. Mike Morgan alongside Chris Spatola. 3-point game. Kent State and Akron, 2 schools from Northeast Ohio, making noise here at the Q in Cleveland. Zabo goes to work. Gonna launch a 3. And offensive rebound by Walker.
It's interesting, after that timeout, Rob Senderoff decides to take Jimmy Hall out of the game. He just calls a timeout here. We'll see if he brings him back in for this offensive possession.
We're back in 30, 3-point game.
At Coors, our mountain is creating a more sustainable world. It's why we pioneered the recyclable can, made our breweries landfill-free, and built the most powerful solar array at any one brewery in the country. But our climb is far from over, so we keep pushing forward. Coors Light, whatever your mountain, climb on.
You are watching the 2017 MAC Basketball Tournament Championship presented by VisitMyrtleBeach.com. Mike Morgan with Chris Spatola here from the home of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and what's going to be the home of the MAC Championship game for several more years. They just signed a contract extension. A terrific venue for this event, and a great crowd on hand as both these teams travel well. Kent State and Akron separated by 11 miles. Walker at the top. Power dribble, stop and pop, and that is a pretty play by the young man, Jalen Walker, out of Detroit, Michigan.
And if he gets to that right hand, He can really score. You've got to get him going left. The percentages go way down. What a stop on a dime on that shot.
Walker leading all scorers with 11 points. Akron going to play for what will likely be the final shot of the half. Clock at 7. And a running shot by Johnson. He couldn't help himself. It was too open. So Kent State will get one final heave at it from about 70 off the backboard. And that's how the half comes to a close. A good one for Isaiah Johnson. He's got 10. Walker for Kent State has 11, and Jimmy Hall has 10 as well. 27-24, our halftime score from Cleveland as we head now back to the studio.
Thank you, Mike. Kara Lawson, Dan Dakich, along with me, Chris Cotter, here on the desk. Audi halftime report. Iowa State, West Virginia, Big 12 championship game, second half. Iowa State increasing their lead. Look at Solo. Solomon Young with the alley-oop. And Nazmi Trulong didn't shoot the ball very well on this day, but he great pass to Deontay Burton, who is coming out of nowhere, Dakich.
Coming out of nowhere there. Nobody saw him.
Iowa State wins. They cut down the nets. Big 12 champs. There's Deontay Burton holding up the trophy. All right, guys, let's talk about this Iowa State team, because this is a team that, Monte Morris, maybe if it's possible, doesn't get the recognition sometime, and his coach even said so over the last couple of days, that he deserves as a point guard of this club.
He's one of my favorite point guards in the country. I mean, I would have London Parentes at Virginia, Monte Morris at the top of my list in terms of point guards. I know Lonzo Ball and Markelle Fultz are going to be high draft picks, but you look at everything that Monte Morris brings to a team. His leadership, game management, he's athletic and his ability to score from any part of the floor, and he is a winner. The win tonight makes Monte Morris the winningest Iowa State basketball player in history. That's what he's done. It's his third Big 12 tournament. It's his third Big 12 tournament title. It's just he's had a great career.
You know what I like about him in the tournament? I like that they're seniors. You mentioned Monte Morris. He's been there. Who's been at a school longer? Monte Morris, Spike Albrecht, Copain.
It always seems like those guys have been there forever.
I know. Forever. He was I don't know if he was the best point guard coming out of the class of 2013, but he was really good, recruited by everybody, went to Iowa State. Matt Thomas, senior shooter, averaging double figures. Then you mentioned Burton. Burton is playing great. Guess what he is? A senior. Mitchell Long, guess what he is? A senior. So when you're filling out your NCAA bracket, think about great point guard. You talked about you take him as well as anybody. Senior team, good shooters, not the biggest team, but athletic team. Don't forget about Iowa State when you look at your bracket come tomorrow.
Let's look at Iowa State in the last 4 years, what they've done in the NCAA tournament. And Kara, to your point, they've won 3 Big 12 championships during Monte Morris's time there. And a reasonable amount of success. I mean, you talk about a couple of Sweet 16, so that's something certainly to hang your hat on. And they've won 9 out of 10 coming into this thing right now, so they are one of the hottest teams out there in the country. Speaking of hot, defending champs, Villanova, taking on a Creighton team in the Big East Championship game. Josh Hart, sick carry, hit the game winner last night. He was on fire today.
What a season for Villanova. Regular season champs in the Big East, and Josh Hart with 29 points. Nice pass there to Jalen Brunson, who's had a very, very good season as well at the point guard position. The Wildcats roll.
Yeah, Villanova wins the Big East Tournament Championship, looking like a #1 seed coming up in the NCAA tournament. Michigan, all the troubles they've had to go through just to get and play in the Big Ten Championship tournament, and they are playing well. Highlights of the Wolverines next.
The heart and soul. Lettuce and tomatoes, onions and spices, all drizzled in the juice. That's the difference. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
The stage in all its stillness. The peace around the pressure. The whisper before the thunder. These are the roars, and they tell the story at the Masters.
This halftime report is presented by Audi.
Showed you highlights from the Big East, Big 12 championship earlier. How about the ACC championship game coming up? Luke Kennard, he's just 20 points waiting to happen. And Duke, one of the hottest teams right now as far as the way they're playing, taking on Notre Dame and VJ Beacham. Should be a great game to watch. Check that out coming up on ESPN. Earlier today, Michigan and Minnesota in the Big Ten. Derek Walton Jr. And Doc, this is a Michigan team. They've got everything in perspective. They've just seemed like they've played loose, and Derek Walton Jr. is a big reason why they haven't had so much success.
All right, about 2 or 3 weeks ago against Ohio State, they were awful. Lost at home to a bad team. They didn't have any of that. No juice. Derek Walton Jr. turned his whole season around with enthusiasm.
They'll play in the championship game against Wisconsin coming up on Sunday. Alabama, Kentucky. De'Aaron Fox, Kara, this was all about him on this day.
Oh, boy, some nervous folks around the country when Alabama had this game really close. But these freshman guards took over. De'Aaron Fox, the pace with which he plays, got to the line 15 times. Big-time performance for the Frosh.
So it's going to be Arkansas and Kentucky for the SEC championship game. Rhode Island on the bubble, having a really good 8-10 tourney here. E.C. Matthews, a big reason why. Hits that three in the corner, spots up from the wing, hits another three. And then Jared Terrell with the dunk. And, Kara, this is a Rhode Island team that right now looks like they may be in, even if they don't win the championship game.
They might be in. I mean, the way they played today looked like a tournament team. But how do you erase that, Cotter? You just win. Win the automatic bid. You don't have to worry about the bubble or any of that other stuff.
VCU, they've got coming up here their next game. If they win that one, they're obviously in. If they play them tough, you got to think the way they finished the year that Joe Lunardi might be right, and they may be on the correct side of that bubble. Pac-12 championship coming up late night on ESPN. Arizona, Kara, great game last night against UCLA. They really shot the ball well.
Lauri Markkanen is a matchup nightmare. And at 7 foot, I think he's the best combination of size and skill in the country. They're going to have their hands full with Oregon. But, man, is he a beast.
And, Doc, I know you talk about these teams with UCLA losing, Arizona and Oregon, really the cream of the crop of the Pac-12. Both those teams could really make noise in.
There are 2 teams that I've been on. Oregon is one of them. Dylan Brooks got in foul trouble, didn't play great yesterday. I expect him to have a fantastic game tonight, and I think this is going to be the game of the weekend.
They'll tip at 11 o'clock tonight on ESPN.
With long-lasting Firestone Champion tires, is there really such a thing as a wrong turn?
Map says straight.
Let's go left.
Look at that thing! That's not wrong. Not wrong. And that ain't wrong either. New Firestone Champion tires with our longest limited tread wear warranty ever for 70,000 miles of no wrong turns. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
These people are real BK chicken sandwich haters.
The chicken has a crunch that's really nice, but it's soft on the inside. Burger King. Wow.
Yep, it's Burger King with a new crispy chicken sandwich made with 100% white meat seasoned chicken filet. Only at Burger King.
Hey, how's it going?
Who are you?
I'm Val, the Orange Money Retirement Squirrel from Voya. I represent the money you save for the future. See? We're putting away acorns to show the importance of being organized.
That's smart. Who's he?
He's the green money you can spend now. What's up?
Oh, gonna pay some bills, maybe buy a new tennis racket.
Tennis racket for a squirrel.
He's got a killer backhand.
When it's time to get organized for retirement, it's time to get Voya.
It isn't always easy to know where you stand financially. Multiple accounts, investments, insurance. It can leave you wondering how it all fits together. At Northwestern Mutual, we help you see your whole picture, find out what you truly want, and then together we design a plan to go get it. There's a confidence that comes in knowing what financial security is and doing what it takes to achieve it. At Northwestern Mutual, we help you live life differently.
I'll take a lemonade.
That'll be $2.37.
Your sign says $1.
Yeah, but that doesn't include fees and added taxes.
Fees and added taxes?
They're all listed on your bill.
Are you kidding me?
There's the line access fee, the standing on my lawn fee, the fresh fruit high cost fee, the poison control surcharge.
Don't pay more for taxes and fees. With T-Mobile One, taxes and fees are now included. For a limited time, get 2 lines of unlimited data for $100. All unlimited, all in.
You're watching the Audi Halftime Report.
Got some breaking news here on the Audi Halftime Report. According to multiple sources, we were just talking about Oregon and Arizona tonight. Chris Boucher, torn ACL, going to be out for the rest of the year. So obviously tonight and beyond, a big blow to Oregon's hopes, is it not?
Absolutely a big blow. This is a guy that's a backstop to what they do defensively in terms of blocking shots. He can also knock down the three-point shot, and you loved Oregon's depth. That's one of the things that made him special.
Doesn't kill him. Jordan Bell as a 5. Brooks as a 4. Doesn't kill him.
We will see how that plays itself out. Certainly does not help. And Boucher, so athletic and playing so well for the Ducks. Tonight, 11 o'clock on ESPN. We still have a second half from Cleveland to come. Jimmy Hall with the bucket there. He's got 10. Zips trailing the Flashes by 3 points. This has been the Audi Halftime Report.
This halftime report is presented by Audi.
Make time this spring to escape to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where the only thing you'll want to do is have fun in the sun. Let the sound of the ocean's tide take all your cares away and leave you refreshed to experience something new. It's your moment to let go and unwind on Myrtle Beach Time.
Let go and unwind on Myrtle Beach Time.
During the Lexus Command Performance Sales Event, experience our most thrilling models ever, including the exhilarating IS, GS, and RC Coupe. Experience amazing.
To encourage trying, Goodness Knows invited people who've always wanted to act to try.
Know what Give Goodness go? It's made with real fruit, whole and whole nuts and dark chocolate. Now you know what Goodness Knows.
Every try is a step to being your best.
Try a little goodness.
Hand-cut tomatoes, fresh original dough. You'd expect those from a pizza family. But here's something you didn't see coming. Get a 2-topping pan or large pizza from Papa John's, just $9.99. That's right, only $9.99.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
During the Lexus Command Performance Sales Event, experience our most refined models ever, including the LS, LX, and ES. Experience amazing.
You are watching the 2017 MAC Basketball Tournament presented by VisitMyrtleBeach.com. Competitive first half dominated by defense early on. Kent State leading Akron, the number 1 seed, 27-24. Mike Morgan alongside Chris Spatola. It is great to be with you here from the Q in Cleveland. Jimmy Hall and the Big Dog. Sounds like maybe a sports talk show here in Cleveland, but actually it's the two top players in this game, the leading centers, and so far in the first half they did not disappoint.
No, they both were outstanding, which we thought they would be. There was a heavy dose of both those guys in the paint. Jimmy Hall got into foul trouble at the end of the half, but got off to a fantastic start. Everything at the basket, did a nice job active on that offensive glass. The tough shot there really made the Big Dog have to defend him. And then once Jimmy Hall went out with the fouls, Isaiah Johnson really took over, got his paint touches, and he can score in a lot of different ways. We saw the 15-foot shot. Here's the fadeaway, showing 290 pounds grace in motion. What a job he has done. And Jalen Walker also really did a nice job attacking the basket, hit a 3 in that half.
Well, that trio getting so many of their points in the paint, 20 of the 27 points for Kent State coming in the paint. Meanwhile, Akron, the best shooting team in the MAC Conference all year long, just 1 of 6 from downtown. They average over 10 threes a game. And Cheatham, who had a really rough first half, turns it right over to start the second. Edwin all the way. Edwin gets it to go, and one.
Well, you know, Quan Cheatham's got to start to play. I mean, this is the MAC championship game, and he's been here before. He's a senior, and that cannot be a play a senior makes in a championship game to go to the NCAA tournament, and that's the result. You give a Kent State team that can struggle in the half court offensively, you give them an opportunity to let Dion Edwin get downhill and take a layup.
Dion Edwin's 5 points, 4 rebounds here in the early going. I'm going to go back to Cheatham for just a moment. What did Coach Dambrot tell us yesterday when we sat and talked with him? He said, if Cheatham plays well, we will win. He said, if he plays well. So far, obviously, that's not been the case, but he lines up a 3 here, and he left it short. Still scoreless is the senior, Quan Cheatham.
Well, it's Quan Cheatham, and it's Antono Jackson. They average 11. You see the numbers. They average 22 points combined. Tonight in this game, they have a donut. And in a championship game, I mean, look, man, you're playing against the Kent State team that can really get after you. You're playing to go to the NCAA tournament.
And together, those guys average a combined 23 points a game, sitting on a double goose egg.
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, it's can't just be Isaiah Johnson when you get to this type of game.
Meanwhile, Walker taking over for Kent State. His game has really elevated in this tournament.
And the difference for Kent State in this game is they have a second scorer. Walker has been that complement to Jimmy Hall.
13 points for Walker, largest lead of the game for Kent State. Ivy lost the handle, knocked out of bounds, and it will remain Akron basketball.
Jalen Walker is so tough, man, and he gets to that right hand. As I said, the percentages go way up. Either going to the basket or on that pull-up.
Cheatham. Well, two good looks. Cheatham from up close and Jackson from downtown. Walker on another three. And Cheatham corrals it. Here come the Zips. Ivy, full throttle. Ivy all the way. Count the basket plus the foul. And that'll put an end to an 11-2 run for the Golden Flashes.
He's another guy. Jamon Ivy averages 9 a game, and this is where he's at his best. When he gets downhill, he's as good an athlete as there is in this MAC conference. Look at his finish, and just not a good play from Deion Edwin. You're going to give up the layup. Give up the layup.
That's the third foul on Edwin, who should know better. All MAC defensive team was Edwin. NCAA tournament bid on the line. Kent State, the last time they made it was 2002. And the last time the Akron Zips made it, you got to go back. Not quite as far, 2013. Tough shot by Walker, my goodness. Off balance, fading and hitting.
He is a tough shot maker with a neon green light. Really tough to guard.
15 for the 6'1 sophomore from Detroit, Michigan. Big dog. Working on Hall. Skip pass to Cheatham. Wheels. Deals. And finally gets his first basket.
He flashes the talent. I mean, that's who he is. He's the X factor. He actually leads them in three-point field goal attempts on the year. That's how active he is in their offense.
Avery up top. Got Hall. Isolated on Johnson. Hall. Nice move. Back iron unkind. Johnson hauls it in. Robotham. Kick to the corner. Cheatham on a three. He has hit 74 of them this year, but cannot find the stroke from downtown. Hall trying to show some mid-range game, and he's got some.
He is so good. What a monster tournament he has had.
And a timeout on the floor. Kent State up by 8 when we come back. Joey Brackett's live from the bunker. Going to get some insight from the man, the myth, the legend.
The Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, tomorrow at noon Eastern on ABC.
Hello?
Almost didn't recognize you. Sweet new ride.
Thanks.
But you get a promotion? Wait, are you our boss now?
You're the boss. I'm gonna need more vacation days.
Oh, can I call in sick today?
Guys, I don't have that kind of power, but I can park this car with my mind.
Now you're just showing off.
Lease the first ever all-wheel drive Infiniti QX30 crossover at your local Infiniti retailer.
The battle has begun. Soldier versus soldier. Army versus army. Nation versus nation. Ebony, the King's Return. Download now and play for free.
Meet five-time Olympian Katuna Loreg. Today, she's going to fire arrows to show how Bridgestone Drive Guard tires can keep you from getting stuck on the side of the road. The car on your right has regular tires. The car on your left has Bridgestone Drive Guard tires. Let's see what happens when the rubber hits the road. Our engineers have designed Drive Guard tires to drive up to 50 miles on a flat. Even after a puncture from razor-sharp arrows, the Bridgestone Drive Guard tire is going strong.
The Reuben hails from New York. But with Arby's new Reuben, with double the meat, they should rename the city New York, New York. Arby's, we have the meats.
Why do some cashback cards make earning bonus cashback so complicated? They limit where you can earn bonus cashback to a few places, and those places keep changing every few months. The Quicksilver card from Capital One doesn't do any of that. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cashback on every purchase everywhere. Leave complicated behind. What's in your wallet?
We've got conference tourneys all made. It's the big ballers of the ACC, Notre Dame, Duke, and a Pac-12 finale of Oregon versus Arizona. Champ Week, game on.
Mike Morgan, Chris Spatola back with you here in Cleveland. It's that time of year. We start talking about seeds. The number one seeds right now looking pretty solid. Nova, Carolina, Kansas, Gonzaga, the twos. Look at Duke, still got a chance to make even more noise. Kentucky, Arizona, and Oregon. As we go now to our partner in crime, Joe Lunardi, coming to you from the Infinity Bracket Bunker. And Joe, I've been watching you for years, and normally it seems like this time of year we've got a little more controversy. Are you getting let off easy this year? Is this a little bit easier to figure out more so than normal years?
I'd like to think so, guys, but generally when I feel that way, that's when it goes off the rails on Sunday night. So who knows? Maybe, they're going to make the winner of your MAC game a 9 seed or something like that. We have no idea really what's going on in that room. All we can do is base it on past decisions that they've made in similar circumstances.
Joe, I'm curious. You've been pretty firm with Gonzaga as a one, and considering how mid-majors have been looked at relative to some of these high-major teams with, not great conference records. I'm curious if Duke were to win tonight, or if Oregon, say, or Arizona ends up winning that Pac-12 tournament, could you see one of them supplanting Gonzaga, or are you still pretty firm on Gonzaga as a one?
Well, there's been a lot of chatter today about Gonzaga being displaced. I just don't get it. And I'll tell you why. They've lost one game, and that's the difference between being 33-0 and 32-1. If they were 33-0, we wouldn't be having the conversation. So did we evaluate them correctly at 33-0? Because they're the same team at 32-1. They've beaten Iowa State on a neutral floor, now the Big 12 champion. They've beaten Arizona on a neutral floor, potentially the Pac-12 champion, and they beat Florida on a semi-neutral floor in Orlando when the Gators were healthy and leading the SEC. I don't know what more we could say to make the case for Gonzaga, and I don't really see any difference in the Pac-12 champion tonight being the number 2 seed in the West to be slotted to potentially play the Zags in a regional final as the 1 versus 2. We're talking about uniform colors.
Kent State up by 4 here as Akron trying to put together a run. A 3 from the top. They have been struggling from 3, but there's an offensive rebound and put back for Ivy. Joe, wanted to ask you one more thing as we talked about kind of the last 4 in here lately and the bubble teams. What is noticeable, the trend the last few years has been a lack of mid-major teams getting at-large bids. They seem to be going more so to the power conference teams that don't necessarily have a great record or season. What do you attribute that to, and is that going to continue to be the trend?
I guess we'll find out tomorrow night. 10 years ago, in Illinois State at 17-1 in the Missouri Valley Conference with an RPI in the mid-30s would absolutely be in the field, and we wouldn't even be debating it. And Syracuse, with an RPI in the mid-80s, wouldn't be in the field. Yet here we are, having seen Syracuse get in last year with maybe a lesser profile, now sitting on 6 top 50 wins, which appear, at least to recent committees, to be coin of the round.
It's the age-old debate. It won't be solved anytime soon, but I know you'll have a lot of fun arguing and debating it here in the next few hours. Joe and Artie, always a pleasure. We'll let you get back in the bunker.
Thanks, guys.
You got it. And, of course, when you're talking about the MAC conference, this is a conference, Chris, that really has been on the rise the last few years. They went through a 10 to 15-year run there. The conference RPI was not very good. You see in games like this, the league top to bottom has certainly improved. Three-point shooting has not improved for Akron, now 1 for 11. And as a former three-point shooter, Chris Spatola, you have to wonder how much is that playing into the psyche of these guys?
Well, I think it's huge. I mean, there's nothing more personal in the game of basketball than how you're shooting it. There's no bigger, mind development than where your shot is at. And I think right now, Mike, a team in Akron that takes so much of their energy and so much of their value in hitting perimeter shots, when they're not hitting them, and that's big right there, it affects, obviously, their offense, but it also affects them defensively. It affects how they communicate. Guys become internal. There's a big shot there from Antono Jackson.
It's the first points of the game for Jackson. And they quickly go back to their money man, Jimmy Hall.
This is one of those guys. We talked about Quan Cheatham. Antono Jackson gives them 11 a game, and that's his first bucket tonight. But he can catch fire quickly, just like this team can. We saw him last night in that semifinal score 7 straight that really closed out that game against Ball State.
Well, if there's one thing Akron has is the ability to put together a run. They have 4 guys that shoot over 40% from 3. Not to mention, once they get the guards going off misses, they can get points in transition, but not much of that has happened so far in this game. As you mentioned, the lack of shooting from the outside has really carried over into other facets.
Well, Kent State's made this an inside fight. You go back to the days of not that I know boxing real well, but, like Mike Tyson, always wanted an inside fight. That's how this game has been tonight, and that favors Kent State. They get their energy from that. They thrive off of that. Akron, they've got to make shots, and I think it's affected their life in this game tonight.
With all that being said, it's a one-possession game. 40-37 our score with 13 minutes to play. Jackson so quick, leaves it off for Johnson, and the big dog lays it in.
What a play. Jackson so good off the bounce. Slippery in that paint, and a nice drop off to Johnson.
And I'll stay with your boxing theme. A counter punch just delivered by Akron now. How does Kent State absorb the blow and rebound here?
See how Antono Jackson denying Jalen Walker the ball.
3 from the corner is answered that time. Dion Edwin.
Well, they have answered. That's 2 possessions now with a 3. A team not known for their perimeter shooting.
Johnson finds Robotham. Passed up a 3, left it back for Johnson. Beautiful play. A 2-man game for the Zips.
Well, and it started with the initial pass from Johnson. Such great court vision for a guy of that size. And then Robotham's penetration off of the closeout. What a possession there for Akron.
18 for Johnson, and a timeout called by Rob Senderoff of Kent State.
Well, we're talking about giving Akron life. Nobody does it more than this guy. And it's a big life. There's the drop off underneath. And then he gets another delivery right on the doorstep for the big dog.
Make time this spring to escape to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where the only thing you'll want to do is have fun in the sun. Let the sound of the ocean's tide take all your cares away and leave.
Friday's endless apps are back for good. With every endless round, you can choose any endless app, including new loaded skins, meatballs, and yeah, even new fried pickles. Always endless apps, $10. Always Friday.
Championship week continues Sunday with 2 more championship games on ESPN. It's the S. Very familiar with one another. They met in 2008 in the MAC championship game. And then again in 2011, Kent State returning the favor, 66-65 in overtime. 2 programs separated by just 11 miles. The teams split the regular season meetings. This is actually the 3rd meeting between Kent State and Akron in the last 22 days. So they've gotten to know each other maybe a little too well. And they both, we talked to the players and the coaches. The players especially, they wanted to meet each other in this game. This is extra special to meet in a championship game against your in-state rival.
Well, I spent a little time in the Duke-Carolina rivalry, and having done these games the last 2 years, the Kent State-Akron games, there's a lot of similarities. I mean, look, Duke-Carolina is about 10 miles apart. These 2 schools about 10 miles apart. You live amongst the other programs and other fans. Both coaches tried to keep a straight face when you ask how you get along with the other guy. So there are a lot of similarities between these 2 rivalries, and that's why I mean, look, Duke-Carolina is the best rivalry in college basketball, but this one is the best mid-major rivalry in college basketball.
2 head coaches know each other very well, have a lot of respect for one another as Johnson gets it, and Johnson heating up. That's 7 of his last 8, and that's a chance for a 3-point play.
That's going to be the 3rd foul on Jimmy Hall, and again, if you're going to foul him, lay it on him. He's trying to get out of the way because he does have the 2 fouls, but a nice roll to the basket. And again, not a great free throw shooter. If you're Jimmy Hall, lay some lumber and make him shoot 2.
Right on cue, Johnson left it short. And of course, big guy has been in the program for 4 years. He has not been to the dance. This will be extra special to be able to get there in his final campaign. He avoids the foul there, but a nice driving layup.
It's the problem there is the ball screens, and that's what teams do, is they bring Isaiah Johnson away from the basket, put him in ball screens, and force him to have to guard.
Williams on a deep 3. Felt that one back at St. Vincent St. Mary's High School.
And that's the freedom that Keith Dambrot allows his team to play with. And that's why you allow them the freedom, because they can hit some big-time shots.
9 points for the sophomore. Inside, guess who? It's Hall, and he goes to work on the big dog.
What an answer.
Everything we expected this game to be. A 1-point affair coming up on 10 minutes remaining. The winner goes dancing. The loser is Heartbreak Hotel. Robotham rifles it down low. And Johnson cross-court pass. That will be an over and back, a turnover.
Wow. I don't know about that. Keith Dambrot feels like that thing was tipped. And I don't blame him, because it looked like it was. Yeah, I mean, that should not be an over and back. That's a bad call. And that ball is tipped clearly by Dion Edwin in there. Both guys fighting for it. Now, it should not have been a reset of the shot clock, but that was not an over and back.
Walker weaves it over up top to Avery. Back to Walker, who's been terrific tonight. So is this guy. Shot clock down to 5. Hall lost it out of bounds, trying to tightrope the baseline.
Well, and on the last possession, they did not double Jimmy Hall there. They didn't quite double, but they are digging deep with guys off of the ball. And Isaiah Johnson did a nice job walling up and forcing the turnover.
Off a curl. Utomi bounces off the iron twice, and somehow Williams comes away with it. A fresh 30 seconds for the Zips.
You'd love to see them get Isaiah Johnson a touch.
Williams gets free and knocks down the triple. Akron has the lead. Kent State has led most of the way. Akron heating up here in the second half. Avery launching a three. Rims off, Big Dog boards it. Robotham whips it into the corner to Williams. Williams, some nifty ball handling. And back to Robotham on a reset. Robotham on a three. Too strong. Walker gobbles up the rebound. 8 minutes remaining. Strong take and a foul called.
The two best players in the MAC Conference standing toe-to-toe. Jimmy Hall right at the basket, and then the Big Dog right back at you to advance and dance here in the MAC.
Make time this spring to escape to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where the only thing you'll want to do is have fun in the sun. Let the sound of the ocean's tide take all your cares away and leave you refreshed to experience something new. It's your moment to let go and unwind on Myrtle Beach Time.
Let go and unwind on Myrtle Beach Time.
What's more irresistible than getting a large mouth-watering Pizza Hut pizza with 2 of your favorite toppings for just $7.99? Having it delivered right to your door. Enjoy the best $7.99 large pizza delivery deal when you order online, because no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Look, you're a grown man now. I don't want to pry.
Dad.
But have you made a decision?
I'm going with the $1,000 in cash back.
My son. A cash man.
Dad, are you crying?
No, just something in my eye.
The Volkswagen 3 in Easy event, where you can choose one of 3 easy ways to get a $1,000 offer. Hurry into your Volkswagen dealer now and you can get $1,000 as an APR bonus, a lease bonus, or cash back.
As we take a look at the bracket for the 2017 Frontier Communications American Athletic Conference, SMU and Cincinnati. No surprise there. The 1 and 2 seeds meeting tomorrow at 3:15 on ESPN. Mike Morgan alongside Chris Spatola here at the Q in Cleveland. MAC championship game. Akron up by a deuce with 7:59 to go. Kent State, again, they have not been to the NCAA tournament in quite some time. You got to go back to 2008. And, of course, they're led by Rob Senderoff in his 6th year. And, you know, Robin has a lot of respect for the head coach of Akron and Keith Dambrot. We asked him, what is your relationship? He said, look, we would be friends. I like him. I respect him. But I can't be friends with him because we're fighting for the same thing. We're hated rivals. There's respect there, but there's also a little bit of separation. You can only go so far in terms of camaraderie when both these teams have the same goal, and one of these teams is going to deny the other a chance to go dancing.
Well, that's why I compared it to Coach K and Roy Williams. I mean, you ask them the same question, and you get the same answer you got from those two guys. What do you expect? Like, we're heated rivals. We're 10 miles apart. We're recruiting the same kids. We're not going to have tea and crumpets. Although both like them separately, I've heard.
Who wouldn't when you think about it? Jackson on the wing to Williams from 15. Not that time. Kent State, remember now, they've had to play the extra game as the number 6 seed. You wonder, will fatigue set in? The final 7.5 minutes of this game, we're all locked up at 49. In the case of Akron, they've had to wear the pain of last year's loss in the championship game for 365 days. Jalen Walker trying to give some more pain. He has been unbelievable. 20 points
He's put on a show tonight.
Cheatham. Wow, pass to Johnson. Tough one to haul in for the big dog. And he has to throw it away. That's just a bad pass by Quan Cheatham, who has not been himself.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. And he's thinking about his own stuff right now. You look at his body language. He's thinking about his own stuff. You got to be thinking about how your team and how you're going to help your team get to the NCAA tournament.
Zabo around the screen from Hall. Back out to Walker. Deep three. Too strong. Cheatham battling. Out of bounds. It will be Akron basketball.
They are so good on the offensive glass, Kent State.
6.2 offensive rebounds. Excuse me, 6.2 rebound margin. That by far and away was number one on the MAC. They average over 15 offensive rebounds a game. One of the top numbers in the country, second to be exact. And that could certainly play a huge factor here in the final 6 and change.
Well, with them, they start 4 guards, so it's not about size. Rebounding's not always about size. It's about position and effort.
Robotham back up top. Now 8 to shoot. Big dog. Trying to back in, draws the double. Robotham spots up, air ball, and it'll be Kent State ball. And now ahead of the pack, it's Hall. All alone, he slams it home. "17 points for Jimmy Hall, and the lead is 4 for the Golden Flashes." Almost a steal there by Peterson. Ivy, kick out. Cheatham on a 3. Has not found the range tonight. Tapped around, out of bounds. Kent State basketball.
How about Jimmy Hall here? He challenges the shot, which affects an air ball, and then runs the other end to get this dunk. I mean, that is offense to defense. That's a senior who's dying to play in the NCAA tournament.
Nobody on either one of these rosters has been there. Everything riding on the final 5 minutes and 19 seconds of this game.
Well, it's defense and offense. I mean, this game is not one-sided, although guys like me wished it was.
Oh, great take. Rims out. There's Walker on the stick back. Slithering in. As you mentioned, I mean, they start 4 guards. They're not that big, but they just get to the basketball.
It's about position, and it's about effort. And if you're Keith Dambrot, there's no real adjustment to rebounding. I mean, you can emphasize it, but it's about your guys going and getting it. And right now, Kent State is outworking Akron.
Jackson's been quiet. Rims out. And out of bounds to Akron. Well, let's let you play coach here, Chris. I mean, we know the strategy is to get the ball inside to Johnson. But who else is going to make a play now for the Zips?
Well, guys can get loud. I mean, look, we saw, again, Antono Jackson went on a 7-0 run last night. Turnovers aren't going to help.
Akron has missed its last 5 shots, and then the turnover that time. And there's Walker, another offensive rebound. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's 6'1", $180, and he's dominating the offensive glass on the last few possessions.
Just outworking. And he hasn't been a big rebounder on the year. He's just come in here tonight in the MAC championship and said, we're going to get this thing done. I mean, he goes between 3 bodies there to get that.
His 3rd offensive rebound of the game. Again, Akron, ordinarily a solid rebounding team, but this is what Kent State does so well. 15 offensive rebounds a game.
Look at where he comes from. Nobody blocks him out, and he works his way between 3 Akron players.
Like a kamikaze, I mean, just no regard for his body, flying in there, twisting. And picking up another rebound plus a game-high 23 points.
The one thing about guards, when you have guards who are active rebounders, they're going to get a free run to the basket because typically guards don't block out other guards.
Akron going to rely on one of the guards. Jackson on a three, no. And then an over-the-back foul, or will it be? No, that's going against Kent State. And they actually got Dion Edwin on the foul. That's the fourth foul on Edwin. Only the fourth team foul. Akron has 5 team fouls with 4:09 to play. 8-point lead for the Golden Flashes. That is their largest lead of this game.
He's got to go to work. He's got to go to work.
Big Dog trying to eat, draws a double, and picks up another dime on the dish to Ivy. A quick bucket and a timeout.
And that's why he has to touch it. We got 4 minutes left in this game. He needs to get a touch every time down. He may not score it, but he's going to get somebody else to do it.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by VisitMyrtleBeach.com. Go visit MyrtleBeach.com to plan your vacation today.
Make time this spring to escape to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where the only thing you'll want to do is have fun in the sun. Let the sound of the ocean's tide take all your cares away and leave you refreshed to experience something new. It's your moment to let go and unwind on Myrtle Beach Time.
Let go and unwind on Myrtle Beach Time.
During the Lexus Command Performance Sales Event, experience our most thrilling models ever, including the exhilarating IS, GS, and RC Coupe. Experience amazing.
Why do some cashback cards make earning bonus cashback so complicated? They limit where you can earn bonus cashback to a few places, and those places keep changing every few months. The Quicksilver card from Capital One doesn't do any of that. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cashback on every purchase everywhere. Leave complicated behind. What's in your wallet?
I joined the Army in July of '98. I did active duty 11 years and 2 in the reserve.
Our 18-year-old was in an accident. When I call USA, it was that voice asking me, is your daughter okay? That's where I felt relief.
It actually helped to know that somebody else cared and wanted to make sure that I was okay. That was really great.
We're the Rivera family, and we will be with USAA for life.
USAA. We know what it means to serve. Call today to talk about your insurance needs.
During the Lexus Command Performance Sales Event, experience our most refined models ever, including the LS, LX, and ES. Experience amazing.
Chris Cotter back in Bristol. ACC on ESPN. It's Duke and Notre Dame and Luke Kennard. You don't foul Luke Kennard in the corner. The Irish did. 3 and 1 made the free throw. Duke up 4 right now. 11:43 left in the first half. Coming up next here on ESPN2, the Islanders. Rashawn Thomas, conference's leading scorer. Texas A&M Corpus Christi taking on the University of New Orleans for the Southland Championship. They'll tip in just under 20 minutes. Mike?
Chris, thank you so much. We got a good one here with 4:02 to go. Kent State up by 6. The two big guys we highlighted at the top, the big dog, Isaiah Johnson, as well as Jimmy Hall. They have came to play, and they have produced. But Jalen Walker has been the difference.
Yeah, in games like this, another guy's got to step up, and it's been Jalen Walker. He loves to go to his right, but then he adds in a little left dribble pull-up to the repertoire, and then he just starts out working teams. Guys who have scoring in their DNA, they got to get their buckets. And this guy tonight has not only made shots, but he's found other ways to get involved. And what a run he's put out there over the last couple minutes here.
You know, keep in mind, Kent State last year, of course, they had Jimmy Hall. He's back, another all-MAC type season. but they lost their number 2, number 3, and number 4 leading scorers. So it's guys like Jalen Walker that really had to evolve. This team did not start off well. That's why they're the number 6 seed. But it has all come together late in the season at a perfect time. Burning some clock here. Shot clock down to 5. Zabo with 3 to shoot. Into the corner. At the buzzer. Got it! Oh my goodness, that hurts. Mitch Peterson with his first bucket of the night.
That is a massive shot from the least likely candidate out there on the floor.
Well, he averages 5 points a game, and then a turnover. Akron ordinarily reliable with the basketball. They led the league in assist to turnover ratio. The worst time for a giveaway there. Zabo. Johnson boards it. 9-point deficit for the Zips. Jackson hits the deck and calls timeout. And probably a good time for one anyway. 2:49 to go. We're back in 30. Golden Flashes up by 9.
Why pause a spontaneous moment? Cialis for daily use treats ED and the urinary symptoms of BPH. Tell your doctor about your medicines and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain or Adempas for pulmonary hypertension, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess. To avoid long-term injury, get medical help right away for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have a sudden decrease or loss of hearing or vision or an allergic reaction, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis.
Championship week continues. Kent State's hot shooting in this second half continues. A big 3 on the last possession by Mitch Peterson. And Akron trying to make up a 9-point deficit with under 3 minutes to play. The winner goes dancing. Johnson backing in on Hall. Johnson muscling his way down low. Up and under. Gets it to go off the window. And now a little full court pressure.
Well, it comes down to stops. I mean, Akron's got to get stops.
Walker passed up the 3. In the lane, what a shot by Jalen Walker. 15 points in the second half for Walker. And Rabotham gets it to go. Under 2 minutes to go. Walker feeling it. Offensive rebound, Hall, and he stepped on the baseline.
Now look, Jalen Walker has 26 points, so I'm not going to impugn the shot he just took. But
Rob Senderoff might.
Yeah, you know, you can get that late in the clock. At this point in the game, you know, you could have Jalen Walker take that shot with about 3 seconds on the shot clock.
Ivy spins and almost a chance for a 3-point play. He'll go to the free throw line. Down 7, a minute 40 to go. Akron was here a year ago. Expected to win. Buffalo rocked the apple cart, broke the hearts of Keith Dambrot and company. This was supposed to be the year. But Kent State has other ideas, and right now, the Golden Flashes making a lot of alums proud, including Michael Keaton, Lou Holtz, Arsenio Hall, Nick Saban, Julian Edelman, and yes, Antonio Gates, who was, of course, on that 2002 team that made it to the Elite Eight. Ivy knocks it down. He's got 12. It's a 5-point game. Oh, baseball pass all the way in the front court, and Ivy, acting like a free safety, knocks it away.
What a play by Ivy. Not a great pass there from Mitch Peterson. Not a good decision. Penn State lucky that Ivy didn't pick that thing off.
Isaiah Johnson, pass for Akron. It's a huge defensive possession right here for Akron. Hall goes to work on Johnson, takes it right at the big man.
What a game. Jimmy Hall and Jalen Walker.
Cheatham inside, Johnson spins and finger rolls it in. 24 for the big dog. Full court pressure. And Avery going to try to bleed some clock here. When do you start fouling if you're Akron?
Well, you don't need to foul yet. I mean, this is still a two-possession game. Now, the good thing for Akron is if you do, you can be opportunistic about it. Kent State, not a great free throw shooting team overall, and there are guys out there where with 58 seconds left, if they were to catch it, you can be opportunistic, and that's what Keith Dambrot is going over in the huddle right now. How about these buckets? These two guys tonight. Here's Jimmy Hall. Look at the spin and the touch to get that roll, and then Jalen Walker going to his left. A pull-up over length. That is a tough shot.
You know, Johnson and Jimmy Hall, I mean, they've been going at it for 4 years. These two guys have a lot of respect for one another. Entirely different body types, but similar performances tonight. The big dog with 24. And in the case of Jimmy Hall, 19 points, 8 rebounds for him. 15 in the second half for Jalen Walker, who's been sensational for the Golden Flashes. Under a minute to play, 18 on the shot clock. And a turnover. They wind up getting it back. Shot clock to 10. Walker holds and gets fouled with 8 on the shot clock. That's not what you want. Oh, goodness. I think Ivy thought the shot clock reset or something. It was down to 8. It's only the 5th team foul on Akron, but now you got a fresh 30-second shot clock. Now you almost have to foul, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And that was, you know, if you're going to, and I don't think Keith Dambrot wanted them to foul there, but Mitch Peterson had it, and he's the worst free throw shooter on the floor. Well, it was the 5th foul. It's just not a smart play.
And Robotham commits the foul. It's 5 more precious seconds off the clock. A 5-point lead. A trip to the free throw line upcoming. And a key 1-and-1 for the young man who has stolen the show in this game, Jalen Walker. 26 points. 6 rebounds.
And he shoots it at a 77% clip from the foul line. And the way he's shot it in this game, that is the guy right now you want on the line.
Knocks down the first. Championship week continues tonight with another championship game on ESPN. Pac-12 championship presented by New York Life at 11 o'clock Eastern time. It's number 2 Arizona and the Ducks of Oregon, the number 1 seed. 2 for 2, ice water going through the veins of Jalen Walker. 7-point lead. Akron needs a bucket.
Got to drive the ball. A lot of time.
Dangerous pass to Ivy on the wing, who just throws it up there. Cheatham with the rebound. Up top, wide open 3. Short. Ivy taps it. Johnson taps it. Hall has it and got pushed out of bounds by Akron. And the Golden Flashes can smell it right now. It has been 9 years since Kent State has been to the NCAA tournament. They are 22 seconds away from history.
And boy, have they earned this one. 4 games in 4 days. And from the opening tip here tonight, they were going to outfight Akron. And that guy at the line is a special, special player.
Missed the free throw. Akron still has hope. Robotham slips and falls and calls a timeout. And that'll be the final one for Akron with 16.1 seconds remaining. What a story it's been for Kent State. I mean, the number 6 seed, they started off the season. I mean, they didn't know what was going on. It was as I mentioned, they lost their number 2, number 3, number 4 leading scorers from a year ago. So a lot of turnover, a lot of JUCOs on this year's team.
Well, they added 8 new guys. And you know, we have this impression that you can just plug guys in and it's going to work. I mean, that's not how team sports works. So you got 8 new guys, you got a lot of JUCO guys, and I think it finally, look, Rob Senderoff, he made Jalen Avery his point guard, and I think that was the first step. And then these guys have come along, and a guy like Jalen Walker is playing his best basketball right now.
They have won 5 MAC championships in their history, but maybe the most infamous MAC run in the history of the NCAA tournament came in 2002. Kent State went 30-6 that year. They were the number 10 seed. Listen to the names that they defeated. Oklahoma State, Alabama, and Pitt before they finally lost to Indiana for a chance to go to the Final Four. Key player on that team was the NFL tight end, the longtime star of the Chargers, Antonio Gates. There was another guy on that team by the name of Demetric Shaw. And Demetric Shaw has been following this team throughout this tournament. He has spoken to them a number of times in the locker room. And he has been kind of one of their inspirational guys, not on the roster, of course, anymore, but trying to provide a little positive karma for the Golden Flashes. Quick 3, got it, and that is huge. No timeouts remaining, though. Got to foul quickly, and they do. And somebody might have taken an elbow. That's Cheatham who hit the deck. And they'll probably take a look at this at the scorer's table.
That's Robotham.
That's Robotham, I beg your pardon. And they're going to come look at this one for sure. As it stands now, a foul has been called, a common foul on Robotham. But they're going to make sure that Jalen Walker did not swing the elbows here.
Wow, he does clip him. Yeah, I mean, he does clip him.
Yeah, the only thing that you've heard a lot this year on plays like this from officials, did you get in his cylinder? Did you get within his cylinder?
Well, look, they're putting a trap on him there. And if you're going to put that rule in, to me, that's what the rule was put in for. The offensive player swinging those elbows indiscriminately. Now, does he hit him? Does he hit him hard enough? I mean, I don't know if that matters. And they're not going to call anything.
All right, just got the explanation from our officiating crew. They were going to call it just a common foul. Nothing flagrant about the elbow swing from Walker. A little bit of a bullet dodge there by Kent State. That could have been an egregious error down the stretch to make things a lot more interesting. Meanwhile, Walker just continues to be amazing in this game tonight. He has just tied his career high, 29 points. How about 30?
Wow. All 4 of those free throws have been pure.
30 points in a championship game for the right to go to the big dance. I mean, you think he'll remember that for a while? Time running out on the Zips. Ivy hits a 3. Well, they can't call timeout. They don't have any timeouts left.
They're going to look if that's a 2 or a 3.
Okay. I'm going to review whether or not it's a 2 or a 3. That really works to the advantage of Akron in a couple of ways. This is like a free timeout.
Yeah.
By the way, I know some people might be watching that replay and saying, hey, is there a walk there? Can they call it? You can't go, that's not a reviewable situation. You can't go back and call a travel, even if he did indeed drag his pivot foot. And what do you think? Looks
Clearly
like space.
yeah, clearly a three.
Space between the toes and the line. And that would make it a 3-point game. This is not over. We've got 8 seconds left. You commit a quick foul, you hope for the best.
Well, and you could try and get a steal. I mean, you make it hard for them to inbound. Anything can happen here. This is where Rob Senderoff's got his point guard inbounding the ball.
Avery on the inbound. They cover Walker up. It comes in the hall. Got a foul quickly. And finally they foul Jalen Avery, who is a 78% free throw shooter.
Most important player in the full court out of bounds is the guy taking it out. And Rob Senderoff there, putting his point guard in charge of that duty.
Avery out of Covington, Kentucky. Coach Senderoff telling us he's a young man who really had a hard time adjusting his freshman year. He was a scoring guard in high school. He was lighting it up in high school, averaged 26 points and 10 assists a game. Got some DNPs early in the year, and finally he decided, you know what? I got to have you in the lineup, Jalen Avery. No more looking over your shoulder. You are my guy. And he just hit maybe the 2 biggest free throws of the year for Kent State.
Well, and part of it for him was he had a phenomenal high school career, as you said, Mike. He played at a small school in Kentucky, though. And I think when he got to Kent State, the jump in competition, as it does for a lot of freshmen, it slowed his progress last year. I think the game has slowed down for him. He now got a vote of confidence from his head coach. I can't tell you as a player, when your head coach says, look, don't look over your shoulder, don't look over at the bench, go and play. I believe in you, run my team. And for a point guard, that's huge. And as you said, it turned their season around. And I think getting all these guys acclimated, it just takes time.
Your heart certainly goes out to Akron if they cannot come back and win this one. This will be the 2nd straight year picked to win this event in the championship game and would fall down. Last year it was a last-second 3 by Buffalo. This game has been competitive for the better part of 40 minutes. And you look at a guy like the big dog, a senior, Isaiah Johnson. This is what they have been talking about all year long, and they might come up short again. Tapped out. Johnson throws it up there. And a golden season for the Golden Flashes. They are going dancing. What a job for Rob Senderoff and company in his 6th year. Kent State makes it to the NCAA tournament. What a story.
I have so much respect for this Kent State team. 4 games in 4 days. You got to knock off #1 in the league, a team that has been in this game in the past. What a job by Kent State.
70-65 your final, and that's what it's all about. Jimmy Hall, the senior, finally gets a chance to go to the NCAA tournament. His squad wins it by 5. For our entire crew, Mike Morgan saying good night from Cleveland as we head to the Southland Championship game.